Before we begin, please note that the information in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not intended to be a substitute for professional career, financial, or academic advice. The journey to becoming a lawyer is a significant personal and financial commitment, and you should always consult with qualified academic advisors, admissions counselors, and financial professionals to make decisions based on your individual circumstances. This presentation provides a general roadmap, but your specific path may vary. Let's be honest. For most people, the path to becoming a lawyer feels like a secret. It's a locked room, and you're convinced everyone else was handed a key at birth. You see the characters on TV, the sharp suits, the dramatic courtroom speeches, the corner office with a view, and you think, how do I get that? But when you start looking into it, all you find is a fog of confusion. LSAT prep books that weigh more than a small child. Vague advice from college counselors who've never set foot in a law school. And a price tag that looks more like the national debt of a small country. You start to wonder, is this a rigged game? Is it only for the kids of wealthy alumni or certified geniuses? I'm here to tell you it's not. The game isn't rigged, but most people are playing it with the wrong rulebook. They focus on the wrong things, waste years of time, and rack up hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, all because nobody ever gave them the actual blueprint. Well, that ends today. This isn't just another video with a few tips. This is the ultimate roadmap. Over the next 10 parts, I am going to give you the key to that locked room. We are going to demystify every single step of this journey, from the decision you make as a college freshman to the day you hang your own shingle. We will cover choosing the right undergraduate major and crushing the LSAT. We'll craft a law school application so compelling it practically glows. We'll navigate the 3 grueling years of law school itself, choosing the right classes, and securing those career-making internships. We'll conquer the bar exam, the final boss of your legal education. And finally, we'll explore how to land your first job and actually build a successful, fulfilling, and profitable career as an attorney in the United States. By the end of this series, you won't have questions. You'll have a plan. You won't have anxiety. You'll have confidence. You'll have the exact step-by-step system to navigate this process more efficiently and effectively than 99% of the people who attempt it. We're going to save you time, we're going to save you money, and most importantly, we're going to save you from the crippling self-doubt that derails so many brilliant future lawyers. So let's start at the very beginning. Not with law school, not with the LSAT, but right here, right now. The foundation. This is what I call stage 1, the undergraduate launchpad. Everything you do for the next 4 years of college will either set you up for a smooth ascent or for a turbulent struggle. And the first myth we need to shatter is the idea that you need to be a pre-law major. Let me be crystal clear. Law schools in the United States do not have a preferred major. There is no secret handshake for political science students or a backdoor for history buffs. In fact, declaring yourself pre-law can sometimes be meaningless. It's a label, not a strategy. So what do they actually want? It's simpler and far more profound than that. They want a brain that works a certain way. They are looking for evidence of 3 core skills: critical reading, complex analytical thinking, and persuasive writing. They want to see that you can take a dense, complicated piece of text, break it down into its fundamental components, analyze it from multiple angles, and then build a clear, logical, and compelling argument in writing. That's it. That is the core skill set of a lawyer. And your college transcript is your first piece of evidence that you have it. This means the best major for you is the one that forces you to hone those skills relentlessly. It should be a major that is rigorous, demanding, and crucially, one that you find genuinely interesting. Why? Because you need to get good grades. Your grade point average, or GPA, is a non-negotiable part of your application. A high GPA in a challenging major is a massive green flag for admissions committees. A mediocre GPA in a supposedly easy major is a red flag. So picking a major you hate just because you think it looks good on an application is one of the biggest strategic blunders you can make. You won't be motivated, your grades will suffer, and you'll be miserable. Let's break down some of the classic choices and why they work. Majors like philosophy are fantastic. You're not just learning what Plato or Kant thought, you're learning how they thought. You're deconstructing complex logical arguments, identifying fallacies, and building your own arguments from the ground up. That is pure, unadulterated legal reasoning training. History is another powerhouse. It teaches you to synthesize vast amounts of information from different sources, understand cause and effect over long periods, and construct a narrative argument based on evidence. Sound familiar? It's what lawyers do every single day. Economics, English, and political science are also traditional and effective paths for the same reasons. They are reading and writing intensive and demand a high level of analytical rigor. They force you to build a case and defend it with evidence, whether that evidence is a statistical model, a line from a Shakespearean sonnet, or a Supreme Court decision. But what about the non-traditional route? This is where you can really stand out. Are you passionate about science? A degree in biology, chemistry, or engineering can be incredibly powerful. Law schools love to see intellectual diversity in their classrooms. More importantly, it sets you up for some of the most lucrative and fascinating areas of law. Think about patent law. To argue whether a new biotech invention is truly novel, you first have to understand the science behind it. You can't be a great patent lawyer without that STEM background. The same goes for environmental law, intellectual property, or health law. A hard science or engineering degree signals to an admissions committee that you possess an exceptional level of quantitative reasoning and analytical skill, which is a huge asset. The same applies to business or finance. A deep understanding of how markets work, how to read a balance sheet, and the principles of corporate governance is a golden ticket for a career in corporate law, mergers and acquisitions, or securities law. You'll be years ahead of your peers who are trying to learn this on the fly in their second year of law school. The takeaway here is not to pick a specific major from a list. It's to reframe the question. Don't ask, what major do law schools want to see? Instead ask, which challenging major will I excel in and enjoy? That will relentlessly train me to read critically, think analytically, and write persuasively. Find the answer to that question and you've found your perfect major. And while you're in that major, your mission is twofold. First, get the best grades you possibly can. Your GPA is a blunt instrument, but it's the first one admissions officers use to sort through tens of thousands of applications. A high GPA shows you have the discipline and intellectual horsepower to handle the rigors of law school. We'll talk more later about how to handle a low GPA, but the best strategy is to avoid getting one in the first place. Second, you need to build relationships with your professors. Not just to get good grades, but because you will need strong letters of recommendation. These letters are a crucial part of your application. A generic letter that just says you were a good student is useless. You want a professor who can write in detail about the quality of your mind. They should be able to point to a specific paper you wrote, a brilliant question you asked in class, or the way you dissected a complex problem. The only way to get a letter like that is to engage. Go to office hours. Ask smart questions. Participate in discussions. Don't just be a face in the crowd. Be an active, memorable participant in your own education. These relationships will pay dividends you can't even imagine yet. And the biggest dividend, the one that cashes out first, is your GPA. But your GPA, no matter how perfect, is only one half of the equation. It's one of two numbers that will define the first chapter of your legal journey. The other number, the one that strikes fear into the hearts of aspiring lawyers everywhere, the LSAT, the law school admission test. Think of it as the great equalizer. It doesn't care where you went to school, what you majored in, or who your parents are. It is a 4-section, digitally administered, multiple-choice gauntlet designed to measure one thing: your ability to think like a lawyer. Before you've even read a single case, the LSAT tests the raw skills you'll need to survive and thrive in law school. Reading comprehension under pressure, formal logic, and the ability to dissect an argument and pinpoint its flaws. For decades, the test was famous or infamous for 3 scored sections. First, logical reasoning. These are the argument questions. You're given a short paragraph, a little argument, and you have to identify its assumption, find its weakness, or figure out what would strengthen it. It's verbal combat, distilled into a multiple-choice question. Second, reading comprehension. This is exactly what it sounds like, but on steroids. You'll read dense, complex passages on everything from quantum physics to 17th century art history and be expected to understand not just what the author said, but how they structured their argument, what their tone was, and what inferences can be drawn. It's about reading for structure, not just for content. And third, the legendary analytical reasoning section, better known as logic games. This was the section that made people toss their prep books across the room. You're given a set of rules like, 7 pianists are performing in a recital. Angela must perform before Charles, but after David. If Frank performs third, then Gina cannot perform sixth. And you have to deduce all the possible outcomes. It was pure, unadulterated formal logic. A beautiful, maddening puzzle. I say was for a reason. Because in one of the biggest shifts in its history, starting in August 2024, the logic games section is being removed from the LSAT. This is a monumental change. It came after a legal settlement with a test taker who was blind and argued, successfully, that the diagram-heavy nature of the games was unfair to those with visual impairments. So, what replaces it? A second scored logical reasoning section. This means the new LSAT is now 2/3 logical reasoning and 1/3 reading comprehension. For some of you, this is a massive relief. For others who excelled at the games, it's a new challenge. But for everyone, it means the ability to deconstruct arguments is now, more than ever, the single most important skill the test measures. So, when do you start preparing for this beast? The honest answer is, earlier than you think. You don't need to be doing full practice tests as a sophomore, but you should be building the underlying skills. Major in something that requires rigorous reading and writing. Join the debate team. Take a philosophy class on formal logic. These aren't pre-law activities, they are pre-thinking activities. The dedicated prep, however, should start about 4 to 6 months before you plan to take the test. For most people, this is the summer between junior and senior year. And your first step is not to open a book or watch a video. Your first step is to take a full-time diagnostic practice test under real conditions. This will be painful. Your score will probably be much lower than you want. That's the point. This isn't a judgment. It's a baseline. It's your "you are here" map on the battlefield. It tells you where your natural strengths and weaknesses are. Are you running out of time on reading comp? Are you getting tripped up by a specific type of question in logical reasoning? The diagnostic test gives you the data you need to create a smart study plan. From there, your prep will be built on 3 pillars. Pillar 1. Learning the theory. You cannot brute force the LSAT. It's not about memorizing facts. It's about recognizing patterns. You need to invest time in a prep course or a set of prep books to learn the methodology. You need to learn the different types of logical reasoning questions, necessary assumptions, sufficient assumptions, strengthen, weaken, flaw, and the precise strategy for attacking each one. You need to learn how to read a reading comprehension passage for its viewpoint and structure, not just its facts. This is your foundational knowledge. You're learning the rules of the game. Pillar 2. Drilling. This is where the real work happens. Once you understand the theory, you need to hammer it home with thousands of practice questions. The key here is to use official LSAT questions from past exams, which are available through the Law School Admission Council, or LSAC. Don't waste your time on questions written by third-party companies if you can avoid it. You want to train on the real thing. And you must practice with a technique called blind review. This means for every question you get wrong, or even for questions you got right but were unsure about, you don't just look at the right answer. You force yourself to rework the problem from scratch until you understand on a fundamental level why the right answer is right and why every other answer is wrong. This is the single most effective way to improve. It's slow, it's tedious, and it's the secret sauce. Pillar 3. Stamina and simulation. The LSAT isn't just a test of logic, it's a test of endurance. It's a nearly 3-hour mental marathon. You need to build your mental stamina. At least once a week, you must take a full-time practice test under strict test day conditions. That means no phone, no distractions. You time your sections precisely. You take the 1 10-minute break you're allowed. You simulate the experience so that when the real test day comes, it feels like just another practice run. Your brain will be conditioned for the pace and the pressure. Throughout this process, you have to manage your psychology. The LSAT can be a deeply demoralizing experience. You will have days where your practice score goes down. You will feel stuck on a plateau for weeks. This is normal. The people who succeed are not the ones who are naturally brilliant at it. They are the ones who are resilient. They treat a bad score not as a verdict on their intelligence, but as data telling them where to focus next. They understand that progress isn't linear. It's a messy, jagged upward climb. So what score do you need? The LSAT is scored on a scale from 120 to 180. A 150 is roughly the 50th percentile. To get into a top-tier T14 law school like Yale, Harvard, or Stanford, you're typically looking at a 173 or higher, which is the 99th percentile. But for a top 50 school, a score in the mid to high 160s can make you a very competitive applicant. And there are hundreds of fantastic, fully accredited law schools across the country where a score in the 150s, paired with a strong GPA, can get you in the door. The goal isn't a perfect 180. The goal is to get the best score you are capable of achieving to open the doors to the schools that are the best fit for your career goals. Your GPA and your LSAT score combine to form your academic index. It's the first thing an admissions officer will see. It's the quantitative summary of you as a student. These two numbers will get your foot in the door, or they might get your application tossed into the maybe pile. But they don't tell your story. They don't explain that dip in your GPA sophomore year when you were dealing with a family emergency. They don't explain your passion for environmental law that started on a childhood camping trip. They are the what, not the why. And in the hyper-competitive world of law school admissions, the why is everything. So once you've conquered undergrad and you've slain the LSAT dragon, you have to face the next, and perhaps most difficult, challenge: crafting a narrative. How do you take a collection of grades, scores, and extracurriculars, and weave them into a compelling story that makes an admissions committee say, "We need this person in our class"? Because your numbers might make you qualified, but your story is what will make you unforgettable. So let's talk about how you build that unforgettable story. This isn't about fabricating some dramatic life event. It's about taking the raw materials of your life, your experiences, your passions, your challenges, and crafting them into a coherent, compelling narrative. Your application is a portfolio, and every single piece of it needs to contribute to the central theme, you. The single most important document for telling this story is your personal statement. This 2-page, double-spaced essay is your one chance to speak directly to the admissions committee. It's where you transform from a set of numbers, a GPA and an LSAT score, into a living, breathing person they can imagine walking the halls of their law school. And here is the biggest mistake people make. They treat the personal statement like a resume in paragraph form. They list their accomplishments. I was president of the Pre-Law Society, then I interned for a congressman, and then I volunteered at a soup kitchen. The admissions committee can see all of that on your resume. The personal statement is not about what you did. It's about why you did it, what it meant to you, and how it shaped the person who is now applying to their institution. The core question your personal statement must answer is, why law? But the worst way to answer that is to simply say, I want to go to law school because. Instead, you have to show them. You have to tell them a story. Think of a specific moment or experience in your life that ignited your interest in the law. Don't tell them you're passionate about justice. Tell them about the time you witnessed an injustice and the fire it lit inside you. Don't tell them you're a diligent researcher. Describe the experience of digging through archives for a history thesis, piecing together a forgotten story, and how that process of discovery felt. Your story needs a narrative arc. It needs a beginning, a middle, and an end. The beginning is your hook, the moment that sparked your journey. The middle is the exploration, how you tested that initial spark. Maybe you took a specific class, pursued an internship, or had a conversation that changed your perspective. This is where you connect the dots between your experiences. The end is the synthesis, how all of these threads have woven together to lead you, inevitably and purposefully, to this moment of applying to law school. It should look forward, hinting at the kind of lawyer you hope to become. Now let's talk about the cliches to avoid like the plague. First, the I love to argue trope. Law is not about arguing. It's about analysis, persuasion, and structured reasoning. Saying you've been arguing with your parents since you were 5 just makes you sound immature, not like a future attorney. Second, the generic, I want to help people. It's a noble sentiment, but it's meaningless without specifics. Who do you want to help? What problems do you want to solve? How will a law degree specifically be the tool you use to help them? Be concrete. A story about helping one specific family navigate a bureaucratic nightmare is infinitely more powerful than a vague statement about helping humanity. And for the love of all that is holy, proofread. Then have someone else proofread. Then read it out loud to yourself to catch awkward phrasing. Then use a grammar checker. A single typo or grammatical error can signal carelessness to an admissions officer who is reading hundreds of these essays. It suggests that if you can't be bothered to perfect this crucial document, how will you handle the meticulous work of a legal career? Your personal statement is your closing argument for yourself. Make it airtight. But your story isn't told by you alone. You need advocates. You need character witnesses. These are your letters of recommendation. And who you choose to write these letters is a critical strategic decision. You need 2, sometimes 3, and they should primarily come from professors. Why? Because law school is an academic institution. They want to know if you can succeed in a rigorous academic environment. Your boss at your summer lifeguarding job might think you're a great person, but they can't speak to your analytical writing skills, your intellectual curiosity, or your ability to handle a dense reading load. Professor can. Don't just pick the professor who gave you an A. Pick the professor who knows you, the one whose office hours you went to, The one you had a real discussion with after class. The one who saw you struggle with a concept and then work your tail off to master it. That professor can write a letter full of specific, powerful anecdotes. A weak letter says, "Sarah was a great student and got an A in my class." A killer letter says, "Sarah's final paper on Fourth Amendment jurisprudence was one of the top 5 I have received in my 20 years of teaching. She demonstrated a rare ability to synthesize complex case law and formulate a novel argument that was both bold and well supported." See the difference? One is a statement, the other is evidence. And you have to make it easy for them to write that killer letter. This is not the time to be shy. You need to approach them at least a month or 2 before the deadline. And you need to provide them with a brag packet. This packet should include your resume, your personal statement draft, a list of the schools you're applying to with their deadlines, and a short summary of your work in their class, reminding them of specific projects or papers you were proud of. You are arming your advocate with the ammunition they need to fight for you. It shows professionalism and makes their job easier, which makes them more likely to write a glowing, detailed letter. Now, what about the parts of your application that aren't so glowing? What if you have a blemish on your record? A semester with a terrible GPA, a disciplinary action, or a withdrawal from a class? You don't hide it. You address it. You do this in a short, separate essay called an addendum. The key to a successful addendum is to be direct, factual, and non-defensive. Its purpose is simply to provide context, not to make excuses. If your grades tanked one semester because of a serious family illness, you write a concise paragraph explaining that. State the facts. During the fall semester of my sophomore year, my GPA was a 2.5. This was due to a significant family medical emergency that required me to travel home frequently. As you can see from my transcript, my grades in all subsequent semesters returned to my standard 3.8 average once the situation stabilized. That's it. You don't need to be overly emotional or dramatic. You state the problem, provide the reason, and show that the problem is in the past. You take responsibility and demonstrate that it was an anomaly, not a pattern. Finally, there's your resume. A law school resume is slightly different from a professional one. While your work experience matters, the emphasis is more on academic achievements, research, publications, and leadership roles. Use strong action verbs. Quantify your achievements whenever possible. Instead of manage social media, try grew social media engagement by 40% over 6 months by implementing a new content strategy. Be concise. It must be 1 page. No exceptions. The admissions officer is going to glance at it for maybe 30 seconds. Make sure it's clean, well organized, and immediately highlights your most impressive accomplishments. So you see, every single document, the personal statement, the letters of recommendation, the addenda, the resume is a puzzle piece. By itself, each one tells a small part of the story. But when you put them all together, they should form a single, coherent, and compelling picture of who you are and why you are destined for a career in law. This is your case file. It's the evidence you present to the jury, the admissions committee. Now that you've meticulously prepared your case, you face what is perhaps the most daunting decision of all. Which courtroom do you want to be tried in? In other words, how do you decide where to even apply? The answer is far more complex than just looking at a list of rankings. The U.S. News & World Report Law School Rankings. For decades, this single list has held the hopes and dreams of aspiring lawyers in a chokehold. It's the first thing you Google, the first thing your parents ask about, and the first thing that can send you into a spiral of anxiety. And let's be clear, you cannot simply ignore them. These rankings have a real-world impact. They influence how law firms recruit, how judges hire clerks, and even the prestige your own professors feel. Denying their power is like denying gravity. But, and this is one of the most important buts on your entire journey, relying on them as your sole guide is a catastrophic mistake. It's like trying to choose your future spouse based on a single photograph. The rankings are a snapshot, a 2-dimensional image of a 3-dimensional reality. They measure things like median LSAT scores, GPAs, and how much money the school spends per student. Important? Sure. But they tell you nothing about the quality of the teaching in a first-year contracts class. They tell you nothing about the mental health support for students during the crushing stress of final exams. They tell you nothing about whether the Career Services Office will actually fight for you, or just help the top 10% of the class and forget the rest. Worse, the rankings create a perverse incentive for schools to game the system, focusing on metrics that boost their number instead of things that actually improve the student experience. It's a flawed tool, a blunt instrument. So, how do we use this flawed tool without letting it ruin our decision-making? We treat it not as a holy text, but as a single blurry data point in a much larger, more personal investigation. Your goal is not to get into the highest ranked school possible. Your goal is to get into the right school for you. To do that, we're going to build your application list using a time-tested strategic framework. Think of it like a financial portfolio. You need to balance risk and reward. We'll divide your potential schools into 3 categories: reach, target, and safety. First, your reach schools. These are your dream schools, the ones that make your heart beat a little faster when you see their name. For many, this means the T14, the top 14 schools that have historically dominated the rankings. For these schools, your LSAT and GPA are likely at or even below their 25th percentile. The odds are statistically against you. So why apply? Because statistics aren't people. Every year, students with incredible life stories, unique experiences, and killer personal statements leapfrog applicants with higher numbers. This is your shot. This is where you swing for the fences. You might spend $100 on an application and get a rejection letter, but you might also get the acceptance that changes your life. You have to be in the game to win it. Apply to 2, maybe 3 of these. Next, and most importantly, are your target schools. This is the heart of your application strategy. These are the schools where your GPA and LSAT fall comfortably within their median range, somewhere between the 25th and 75th percentile. You are exactly the kind of candidate they are looking for. You are not a long shot, you are a contender. These are schools where you have a very realistic chance of acceptance, and often a good chance at receiving scholarship money. This is where you should focus the bulk of your applications, typically around 5 to 8 schools. These are the institutions that will likely form the core of your choices come decision time. Finally, we have your safety schools. And let me be blunt, the word safety can feel insulting to your ego. Don't let it. A safety school is not a school you look down on. It is a school you are strategically brilliant for targeting. These are institutions where your stats are well above the 75th percentile. You are, on paper, a star applicant for them, and acceptance is highly likely. But why is this so critical? 2 reasons. First, it's about peace of mind. The law school application process is a brutal year-long marathon. Having an acceptance, any acceptance, in your back pocket by January can be an incredible psychological boost. But the second reason is far more important: money. Safety schools are the most likely to offer you significant, and sometimes full scholarships to entice you to enroll. And this creates leverage. Imagine this choice. You get into a number 20 ranked school that costs you $200,000 in debt, or you get a full-ride scholarship to the number 45 ranked school. Which is the better outcome? For a vast majority of career paths, graduating with 0 debt is a superpower. It gives you the freedom to take a public interest job you're passionate about, to start your own firm, or to simply live without the crushing weight of 6-figure student loans. A well-chosen safety school isn't a consolation prize. It's a golden ticket. Now that you have this 3-tiered structure, how do you populate it? This is where we move beyond the rankings and into the factors that truly define your future. The first, and arguably the most important, is geography. Law is, for the most part, a deeply regional profession. Unless you graduate from a handful of elite national schools like Yale, Harvard, or Stanford, your degree has the most power in the state and city where you earned it. The alumni network is strongest there. The law firms and judges predominantly hire from the local schools they know and trust. The clinics and externships you do during law school will be with local employers. If you want to build a life and career in California, going to a great law school in California like UCLA or USC is often a much smarter move than going to an equally ranked school in New York. You will graduate with a built-in network, local experience, and a recognizable name on your resume. So, the first question you must ask is not what is the best school, but where do I want to live and work for at least the first 5 to 10 years after I graduate? Be honest with yourself. If you hate snow, don't apply to schools in the Northeast just because they have a good ranking. Your life for 3 years and likely much longer is at stake. The second factor is the brutal, unavoidable reality of cost. Law school is obscenely expensive. The sticker price at many private law schools is soaring past $70,000 a year, before living expenses. That means you could be looking at over $250,000 in debt. This is a mortgage without a house. It will dictate every major decision in your life for decades. So you must become a savvy consumer. Never look at the sticker price alone. Look for the scholarships. Use each school's net price calculator. When you get acceptance letters, don't be afraid to negotiate. If a similarly ranked school offers you more money, you can often leverage that into a better offer. Think of it as your first legal negotiation. Your goal is to minimize your debt load, because debt is the enemy of choice. The less you owe, the more freedom you have. Third, consider your specific interests. The overall U.S. news ranking is just that, overall. But they also publish specialty rankings for things like tax law, intellectual property, or international law. If you know you want to be a patent lawyer working with tech startups, a school like Santa Clara University in the heart of Silicon Valley might offer you a better education and better career opportunities in that specific field than a higher-ranked school in a different part of the country. If you're passionate about environmental law, Lewis and Clark in Oregon is a national powerhouse. Don't just chase a generic number. Chase the program and the faculty that will actually prepare you for the career you want. Finally, and most elusively, is culture. For the next 3 years, law school will be your entire world. The people in your classes will be your colleagues, your competitors, and your friends. The environment of the school will seep into your soul. Is the school known for a Shark Tank, every person for themselves, competitive culture? Or is it known for being collaborative and supportive? Do you want a sprawling campus in a major metropolis, or a tight-knit community in a quiet college town? There is no right answer, but there is a right answer for you. Possible, visit the schools. If not, talk to current students. Go on Reddit. Read student blogs. Try to get a feel for the day-to-day reality. Your happiness and mental well-being are not a luxury. They are a prerequisite for success. So you start with a big list sorted into your 3 tiers. Reach target safety. Then you become a relentless editor. You apply your filters. First, geography. Cut out every school in a region you can't imagine yourself living in. Then cost, be brutally realistic about the debt you're willing to take on. Then specialty, prioritize the schools that excel in what you want to do. And finally, culture, get rid of any place that just doesn't feel right. What you're left with is not just a random list of 10 schools pulled from a magazine. It's a personalized, strategic battle plan. It's a portfolio of applications designed to maximize your chances of getting not just an acceptance, but the right acceptance. It's the difference between hoping for the best and engineering your own success. You've now identified your targets. The next challenge is to load the weapon that will get you in the door. It's a document of no more than 2 pages, but it carries the entire weight of your past and the full promise of your future. It's time to talk about the personal statement. This document isn't a summary of your achievements. It's an argument for your potential. It's the one place in your entire application where the numbers fall away, the GPA, the LSAT score, and a human being emerges. The admissions committee isn't just admitting a score. They're admitting a person who will sit in their classrooms, contribute to their community, and one day represent their institution in the world. Your job with this single document is to convince them that you are that person. And the biggest mistake, the single most common reason a personal statement fails, is treating it like a resume in prose. First, I was president of the debate club where I honed my public speaking skills. Then I interned at a local law firm, which gave me valuable insight into the legal profession. Finally, I volunteered at a soup kitchen, demonstrating my commitment to public service. The admissions officer reading this is already asleep. Why? Because they already have your resume. You've just wasted the most valuable real estate in your entire application telling them something they already know, and you've done it in the most boring way possible. This approach presents a list of exhibits without a closing argument. It's a box of evidence with no story. It tells them what you did, but it tells them absolutely nothing about who you are or why you did it. And the why is everything. Your mission is to craft a single, compelling narrative. Not a collection of anecdotes, but one story told well, that serves as a lens through which the admissions committee can understand the rest of your application. Think of it like this: your GPA and LSAT are the black and white statistics. Your personal statement is what adds the color, the context, the humanity. It's the story that makes the numbers make sense. So, where do you find this story? It's not about fabricating some dramatic, movie of the week moment. It's about finding the truth in your own experience. Start by brainstorming not accomplishments, but moments of transformation. Forget your resume for a second. When did you change your mind about something important? When did you face a challenge that truly tested you? When did you fail and what did you do next? When did you see an injustice, big or small, and feel that fire in your gut, that primal urge to make it right? Maybe it wasn't a single dramatic event. Maybe it was a slow burn. The experience of watching your parents navigate the labyrinthine process of starting a small business. The summer you worked in customer service, mediating disputes between angry customers and inflexible corporate policy, realizing you had a talent for finding the middle ground. The time you helped a friend who was wrongly accused of something, and you spent hours meticulously piecing together evidence to clear their name. These are the seeds of a powerful story. They are specific, they are personal, and they reveal character. The goal is to find a story that only you can tell. Once you have a few of these moments, apply the ultimate litmus test to each one. Does this story in some way answer the fundamental question, why law? And let me be brutally honest, I want to help people is not an answer. It's a starting point, but it's not enough. A doctor helps people. A social worker helps people. A teacher helps people. Why a lawyer? What is it about the structure of law, the logic of the system, the power of advocacy that draws you in? Your story must be the answer. It shouldn't say, I want to be a lawyer because I'm good at arguing. It should tell the story of a time you used reasoned argument to de-escalate a conflict and achieve a just outcome. It shouldn't say, I am passionate about social justice. It should tell the story of a specific injustice you witnessed and the concrete steps you took to understand it or fight against it, igniting a desire to use the law as your tool for change. Once you've found your story, it's time to build your case. The first sentence is your opening statement to the jury. It must be a hook. It has to grab them by the collar and refuse to let go. Compare these two openings. Opening 1. I am writing to express my profound interest in the study of law, a passion that has been cultivated through a variety of academic and professional experiences. The jury is already checking their watches. Opening 2. The first time I was ever called a liar, I was 7 years old, and my accuser was my second-grade teacher. Now that is a story. We want to know what happened. How did you react? How was it resolved? You've created a question in the reader's mind, and they will keep reading to find the answer. The body of your essay is where you present your evidence. This is the show don't tell principle in action. Don't tell the committee you're resilient. Tell them the story of how you juggled 2 jobs and a full course load to support your family after your father lost his job, and how that taught you more about time management and grit than any textbook ever could. Don't tell them you're a creative problem solver. Describe the time your student organization's funding was cut, and you devised a novel fundraising plan that not only saved the group, but doubled its budget for the following year. Each paragraph should be a building block in your argument. It should flow logically from the last, taking the reader on a journey. This journey is your evolution. It starts with an event or a realization, moves through the process of how you grappled with it, and ends with a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the world, and how that place is inevitably in the legal profession. Finally, your conclusion. This is your closing argument. It is the most critical part. A weak conclusion can undermine an otherwise brilliant essay. Do not simply summarize what you just said. The committee can read. Your conclusion must do 2 things. First, it must tie the threads of your story together, crystallizing the central theme. Second, and most importantly, it must pivot to the future. How has this entire experience, this story you just told, prepared you for the rigors of law school? And not just any law school, but their law school? You need to connect your past narrative to your future aspirations. This experience taught me the importance of meticulous research and compassionate advocacy, skills I am eager to hone through your school's renowned litigation clinic. You are explicitly stating the conclusion you want the jury to reach. This candidate's past proves they will succeed in our future. As you write, be vigilant against common traps that can result in a mistrial. The first is the sympathy trap. Telling a story of hardship is fine, but if it's just a story of victimhood without showing your agency, your growth, your resilience in the face of it, then it fails. The admissions committee isn't looking for a victim. They're looking for a future advocate. The second is the cliché trap. If you find yourself writing phrases like, from a young age, I've always had a passion for justice, or quoting Gandhi or Martin Luther King Jr., delete it immediately. Your own words and your own experiences are infinitely more powerful than a borrowed platitude. Finally, the arrogance trap. Confidence is good. Arrogance is fatal. Don't write about how you're going to single-handedly change the world, or how you've already mastered the law. Show humility. Show that you understand the law is a craft to be learned, a mountain to be climbed, and that you are ready and eager to begin the ascent. Once you have a draft, read it aloud. You will hear the clunky sentences and awkward phrases. Then, give it to 2, maybe 3 trusted people to read. A professor who knows you well, a mentor, a sharp writer. Don't give it to 10 people. You'll get 10 different opinions and your own voice will be drowned out in the chorus of edits. The goal is a final product that is polished, powerful, and undeniably authentically you. This personal statement is your story, your argument, your voice. It's the soul of your application. But even the most compelling protagonist needs a strong supporting cast. You've made your case for yourself, but the jury also wants to hear from others. They want to hear testimony from people who have seen you in action. It's time to assemble your witnesses and secure the most powerful evidence you can get from others. Your letters of recommendation. Letters of recommendation. These aren't just checkboxes on your application. They are sworn affidavits from credible witnesses testifying on your behalf. A generic, lukewarm letter can be the kiss of death. But a powerful, detailed, and glowing letter? That can be the piece of evidence that pushes a maybe into a resounding accepted. Admissions committees read thousands of applications. They see through the fluff. They can spot a form letter from a mile away. What they're looking for is a story. A story about you, told by someone whose opinion they respect. So, who do you ask to be your star witnesses? This is the single most important decision you'll make in this part of the process, and it's where so many applicants go tragically wrong. They chase prestige. They think a letter from a U.S. senator they interned for, or a famous judge they shook hands with once, is the golden ticket. It's not. In fact, it's often the opposite. A letter that says, "Jane worked in my office for a summer and was a pleasant addition to the team," is worthless. It's a character reference from someone who doesn't know your character. The golden rule is this: the quality of the relationship is infinitely more important than the title of the recommender. Law schools want to know one thing above all else. Can you handle the academic rigor of their program? Therefore, your most powerful witnesses will almost always be your professors. You should aim for at least 2 academic letters of recommendation. These are the people who have seen your mind at work. They've graded your papers, they've heard your arguments in class, they've challenged your thinking. They are uniquely qualified to testify to your analytical skills, your writing ability, and your intellectual curiosity. The holy trinity of law school admissions. But which professors? Not the one who taught that 300-person introduction to psychology lecture where you were just a face in the crowd. You want the professor from that upper-level seminar with only 15 students. The one where you actively participated in every discussion. The professor whose office hours you actually attended to debate a concept or get feedback on a paper. The one who supervised your senior thesis. You want someone who can write with specific, concrete examples. They shouldn't just say, "John is a great writer." They should be able to say, "John's research paper on the constitutional implications of digital privacy was one of the most well-argued and sophisticated analyses I've seen in my 10 years of teaching this course. He demonstrated a rare ability to synthesize complex legal theory and apply it to contemporary issues." See the difference? One is a generic compliment. The other is compelling evidence. What if you've been out of school for a few years? First, still try to get at least 1 academic letter. Reach out to a former professor. You'd be surprised how many will remember you, especially if you help jog their memory. But you absolutely should also get a professional recommendation. This should come from a direct supervisor who can speak to your work ethic, your maturity, your project management skills, and your professionalism. This helps the admissions committee see you as a complete person, someone who has thrived outside the academic bubble. It demonstrates responsibility and real-world competence. Now let's talk about the don't list. Do not ask a family friend. Do not ask your parents' boss. Do not ask a relative. Do not ask the coach of your intramural frisbee team. Unless they can speak directly and in detail to your academic or professional capabilities relevant to law school, their testimony is inadmissible. Once you've identified your ideal recommenders, you have to master the art of the ask. How you approach them can make all the difference. First, timing is everything. Do not email a professor 2 weeks before the deadline with a frantic request. You need to give them at a minimum 4 to 6 weeks of lead time. They are incredibly busy people, and a rushed request will result in a rushed and likely mediocre letter. The best way to ask is in person. Schedule a brief meeting. This shows respect for their time and underscores the seriousness of your request. When you meet, you'll ask a crucial question. Don't just say, "Will you write me a letter of recommendation?" Instead, you ask, "Do you feel you know me and my work well enough to write a strong, positive letter of recommendation for law school?" This is a critical distinction. It gives them a polite way to decline if they don't feel they can write you a glowing letter. A yes to that specific question means you're getting an advocate, not just a writer. If they agree, your job is to make their job as easy as humanly possible. You are going to prepare what I call a recommender's packet. This is your secret weapon. You'll either hand this to them in a neat folder during your meeting or email it to them as a single, well-organized PDF immediately after. This packet will contain everything they need to write a stellar, detail-rich letter without having to do any detective work. Here's what goes inside. 1. A cover sheet with a list of all the schools you're applying to and their deadlines, listed in chronological order. 2. Your updated resume or CV. 3. A draft of your personal statement. This is huge. It gives them the full story of why you want to go to law school, allowing them to tailor their letter to fit your personal narrative. 4. Your unofficial transcript. Highlight the courses you took with them. 5. The most important part. A brag sheet or memory jogger. On this sheet, you will remind them of the specific courses you took with them, the grades you received, and most importantly, you will list specific projects or papers you completed. For example, you may remember my final paper for your constitutional law class, where I argued for a new interpretation of the Commerce Clause. I've attached a copy for your reference. You are literally handing them the specific details and evidence they need to use in their letter. You're not writing it for them, but you're loading the weapon with the best ammunition. Finally, the packet should include clear, simple instructions on how to submit the letter for each school, including any necessary forms or links. You do the administrative legwork so they can focus on writing. This level of preparation and professionalism will not only result in a better letter, but it will also impress your recommender. After you've made the request and sent the packet, there's one more crucial step on the application form itself. You will be asked if you want to waive your right to view your letters of recommendation under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA. The answer is always unequivocally yes. You must waive your right. Admissions committees view non-waived letters with extreme suspicion. It signals that you don't fully trust your recommender, and it implies that the recommender couldn't be completely candid because they knew you'd be reading it. Not waiving your right is a giant red flag that undermines the credibility of the entire letter. Just waive it. As deadlines approach, if a letter hasn't been submitted, it's okay to send a single, polite follow-up email about a week or two before the due date. A simple, "Just wanted to send a gentle reminder that the deadline for my application to Georgetown Law is approaching on February 1st. Please let me know if there is any additional information I can provide." And once the letters are in, your job isn't done. Send a thank you note. Not an email, a real handwritten thank you card. It's a small gesture that speaks volumes about your character and professionalism. And later, when the acceptances start rolling in, send them another email letting them know the good news and thanking them again for their role in your success. You're not just getting a letter. You're building a relationship with a mentor who can be a valuable part of your professional network for years to come. You've gathered your witnesses. They've testified to your character and intellect. But the most important testimony is yet to come. The one that comes directly from you. It's time to take the stand and deliver your opening statement, the single most important document in your entire application. Your personal statement. This document isn't an essay. It's an affidavit. It's a sworn statement to the admissions committee, under penalty of rejection, that you have the grit, the character, and the purpose to not only survive law school, but to one day honor the profession. And most applicants tragically commit perjury. They don't lie, not in the traditional sense, but they fail to tell the truth. Instead, they submit a document that is technically accurate but emotionally and intellectually vacant. They write a resume in prose. First, I worked as a paralegal, where I developed my research skills. Then, I volunteered for a political campaign which taught me about public policy. My time studying abroad in Spain broadened my cultural horizons. The admissions officer reading this has already seen your resume. They know what you did. The personal statement is your one and only chance to tell them why it mattered. It's your chance to connect the dots, to draw a line from your past experiences directly to your future as a law student. So how do you do it? How do you transform a list of accomplishments into a compelling narrative? You start by understanding the single biggest secret of a great personal statement. It is not about everything you've ever done. It's about one thing, one theme, one central idea that serves as the spine of your story. Your job is not to build a sprawling case with dozens of pieces of weak evidence. Your job is to present one single powerful argument, supported by your most compelling life experience, that proves you belong in their law school. Finding that one theme is the hardest part. So let's workshop it. I want you to forget about what you think a law school wants to hear. Forget the cliches about wanting to help people, or being passionate about justice. Those are conclusions. We need the premise. We need the story that led you to that conclusion. Start with this exercise. Ask yourself, why do I really want to go to law school? And when you have an answer, I want you to ask why again, and again, and again, like a relentless cross-examination of your own motives. I want to go to law school to become a prosecutor. Why? Because I want to hold criminals accountable. Why? Because my family's small business was robbed when I was a kid, and the person was never caught. Why did that matter so much? Because I saw the fear and helplessness in my parents' eyes, and the feeling that the system had failed them. I never wanted anyone to feel that way again. That is your story. Not, I want to be a prosecutor. It's the story of a child watching their parents' dreams get shattered and dedicating their life to rebuilding a sense of safety and fairness in the world. One story is a generic goal. The other is a powerful, unforgettable mission. Your theme doesn't have to come from a place of trauma. It can come from a moment of intellectual awakening. Maybe you were working in a highly regulated industry, like finance or healthcare, and became fascinated by the intricate dance between regulation and innovation. Don't just say, I am interested in regulatory law. Tell the story of a specific time you spent weeks trying to navigate a single arcane subsection of a federal code for a project. Describe the frustration, the complexity, and then the sudden, exhilarating moment of clarity when you finally understood the logic behind it. That's a story that shows your intellectual curiosity and your ability to grapple with dense material. The two most critical skills for a law student. Once you have your theme, you need to structure your argument. A powerful personal statement generally has 3 parts. First, the hook. This is your opening. You have 10 seconds to grab the jury's attention. Do not, under any circumstances, start with, I am writing to apply to your prestigious law school. Or ever since I was a child, I have dreamed of being a lawyer. They've read that sentence 10,000 times. It's a guaranteed way to make their eyes glaze over. Instead, drop them directly into the middle of your story. Start in a moment of action or tension. The air in the community meeting was thick with anger. The final line of code refused to compile. My grandmother's hands, wrinkled and frail, held the eviction notice. Start with an image, a conflict, a question. Make the admissions officer lean in and ask, okay, where is this going? You are a storyteller. The first sentence is your most important. Second, the pivot. This is the heart of your statement. After you've opened with your compelling anecdote, you have to connect it to your legal ambitions. This is the so what moment. You've told us about your grandmother's eviction notice. So what? You have to explicitly draw the line for the reader. It was in trying to decipher that legal document for her, a tangle of jargon seemingly designed to confuse, that I realized the law was not an abstract concept. It was a weapon or a shield. And I knew in that moment which side I wanted to be on. The pivot is where you show, not just tell. Don't say, I am resilient. Tell the story of the project that failed 3 times before you finally figured it out on the 4th try. Don't say, I am a good communicator. Describe the time you had to mediate a dispute between 2 warring members of your project team. Let the story be the evidence. Let your actions speak for themselves. This section is where you demonstrate the qualities of a great future lawyer. Analysis, empathy, perseverance, advocacy, without ever having to use those words. Third, the conclusion. You've hooked them, you've presented your case, now you need to deliver your closing argument. This is where you zoom out. You've told a specific story. Now you need to connect that specific story to your broader goals. How will a legal education, specifically at their law school, help you continue the work you started? This is your chance to be forward-looking. Briefly touch upon why you believe you are a good fit for their program and how you will contribute to their community. End with a powerful, confident statement that echoes your opening theme and leaves no doubt in the jury's mind that you are ready for this challenge. And through it all, the most critical element is your voice, your authenticity. Admissions officers are professional BS detectors. They can spot an inauthentic, manufactured story from a mile away. Don't use a thesaurus to try and sound smarter. Don't try to write like you think a lawyer should sound. Write like you. If you're funny, let a bit of wit shine through. If you're deeply analytical, let your structured thinking be the star. The single greatest asset you have in this process is your unique perspective. Your story is the only one like it. Own it. After you've poured your heart and soul onto that page, your work is only half done. Now you must become your own most ruthless editor. Every sentence must have a purpose. Every word must fight for its right to be on the page. Read it aloud. Does it flow? Does it sound like a human being? Cut the jargon. Kill the cliches. Then give it to people you trust. A former professor, a mentor, a friend who writes well. Ask them not, is this good? But what is the key takeaway from my story? What does this essay say about me? If their answer doesn't match the theme you intended, you have more work to do. This personal statement is more than just a hurdle to clear. It is an act of profound self-reflection. It is the moment you stop accumulating experiences and start making sense of them. It's where you define your own narrative before you step into a profession dedicated to shaping the narratives of others. You have presented your intellect through your GPA and your LSAT. You have presented your character through your resume. You have delivered your opening statement. But a case isn't won by a single speech. A jury needs corroboration. They need to hear from witnesses who can attest to your claims. And that's where the next crucial piece of evidence comes in: your letters of recommendation. These letters are not just a formality. They are the character witnesses in the trial for your future. The admissions committee has heard your story, your opening argument, in the form of your personal statement. They've read your claims about your intellectual curiosity, your work ethic, your resilience. But now they turn to the witness stand. They want to hear from others. They want third-party, objective verification that you are who you say you are. A weak generic letter is like a witness who mumbles, "Yeah, I guess I know them." But a powerful, detailed, enthusiastic letter is a star witness who points at you and tells the jury, "This person is the real deal, and let me tell you exactly why." So, who do you call to the stand? This is one of the most critical strategic decisions you'll make. Your choice of recommender speaks volumes before a single word of their letter is even read. The gold standard, the star witness every single time, is a tenured professor in your major who gave you in an upper-level seminar. Let's break down why that's the perfect formula. Tenured professor. This signals credibility. Admissions committees are staffed by academics. They know, respect, and trust the judgment of other senior academics. In your major, this shows the recommender can speak to your abilities in the field you claim to have mastered. Gave you an A. This is the proof. It's the objective validation of your success. An upper-level seminar. This is the key. Large introductory lecture courses are less effective. A seminar implies a small group, intense discussion, and significant writing, allowing the professor to know your mind, your writing style, and your intellectual contributions on a personal level. This is the witness who can offer specific anecdotes, not just general praise. The silver standard is still incredibly valuable. This could be a professor from a different department with whom you had a strong connection, a research advisor you worked with for a year, or even a clinical professor. The title is less important than the substance of the relationship. A glowing, detailed letter from an associate professor who supervised your thesis is infinitely more valuable than a generic two-paragraph letter from the famous big-shot department head, who barely remembers your name. The jury can spot a form letter a mile away. They're looking for authenticity. They want to hear a story only that recommender could tell. But what if you've been out of school for 5, 10, even 20 years? Calling up your old college professor might not be feasible or effective. In this case, your witnesses change. You call your direct supervisor, a senior partner at your firm, or a manager who oversaw a major project you led. The key here is to guide them. These recommenders might be more familiar with writing corporate performance reviews than academic letters. You need to ensure they focus on the skills that translate to law school. Your analytical and quantitative abilities, your research skills, your writing and communication prowess, your leadership, your ability to handle immense pressure and tight deadlines. A letter from a manager detailing how you single-handedly researched, wrote, and presented a 50-page market analysis that won a major client is pure gold. It's a different kind of witness, but their testimony is just as powerful. Now let's talk about who not to call to the stand. This is the equivalent of calling a surprise witness who ends up tanking your case. Do not ask a family friend, even if they're a judge. Do not ask a local politician you interned for one summer who doesn't know you from Adam. Do not ask the CEO of your 10,000-person company. Why? Because their testimony is what lawyers call hearsay. They can't speak to your specific academic or professional abilities. A letter from a judge that says, "I've known this young person's family for years, and they come from good stock," is worse than useless. It tells the admissions committee you don't understand the rules of the game and couldn't find anyone with direct knowledge of your skills to vouch for you. It's a massive red flag. The jury will dismiss their testimony. and your credibility will take a hit. Once you've chosen your witnesses, you must prepare them to testify. This is not about telling them what to say. It's about equipping them to give the most effective, detailed, and compelling testimony possible. First, timing is everything. You must ask for a letter of recommendation at least 4 to 6 weeks before the deadline. Ideally, you ask in person during office hours. It's more personal and shows respect for their time. If that's not possible, a polite, well-crafted email is the next best thing. In your request, you must always give them an easy out. Say something like, "I was hoping you might be willing to write a strong letter of recommendation for me. If you don't feel you know me well enough or are too busy, I completely understand." Why do this? Because a reluctant letter is a lukewarm letter. You want unbridled enthusiasm. You want a recommender who is excited to advocate for you. When they agree, your job has just begun. You need to provide them with a recommendation packet. Do not make them do the work of remembering everything about you. You are the case manager. It's your job to hand them a perfectly organized file. This packet is your secret weapon. First, include a cover sheet that reminds them which class you took, the semester you took it, and the grade you received. Briefly state your career goals and why you're applying to law school. Next, include your updated resume or CV. This gives them a broader picture of who you are outside their classroom or office. Then, and this is the most important part, include a draft of your personal statement. This allows them to see the narrative you're building. Their letter can then corroborate your story. If your personal statement is about overcoming a challenge through perseverance, their letter can provide a specific example of your perseverance on a tough research paper. Their testimony will echo and amplify your opening statement. The synergy is incredibly powerful. You should also include a brag sheet. This is a bulleted list of your accomplishments in their specific class or workplace. Remind them of the insightful comment you made in a discussion, the paper you wrote on a complex topic, or the extra office hours you attended. For an employer, remind them of the project you led, the problem you solved, or the revenue you generated. You're not bragging. You're refreshing their memory with concrete data points they can use to build their letter. Finally, include a clear, organized list of the schools you're applying to, with their specific deadlines and submission instructions. Make it so easy for them that all they have to do is write greatness and click submit. There's one more crucial step. When you request your letters through the Law School Admission Council service, you will be asked to waive your right to view the letters under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA. You must, without hesitation, waive this right. Click the box. Here's why. Admissions committees view confidential letters as more candid, more honest, and therefore more credible. A letter you have the right to read is seen as potentially censored or less than truthful. Not waiving your right signals to the committee that you don't fully trust your recommender, which makes the jury suspicious of both you and your witness. It's a rookie mistake that can undermine an otherwise stellar application. Trust your recommenders. If you've chosen and prepared them well, they will advocate for you fiercely. After they've submitted their letters, your final act is one of gratitude. Send a thank you note. A thoughtful handwritten card can leave a lasting positive impression. And keep them updated on your journey. Let them know where you get in. These people have invested their time and reputation in you. They are part of your story now. Cultivate that relationship. It's not just about getting a letter. It's about building a network of mentors who believe in you. Your witnesses have now testified. They have provided specific, credible anecdotes that paint a vivid picture of your intellect, your character, and your potential. Their testimony has reinforced the claims you made in your opening statement. The jury, the admissions committee, is nodding along. They're convinced of your story. But in any trial, a narrative is not enough. You need the hard evidence, the forensic data, the cold, hard numbers that underpin the entire case. And in the world of law school admissions, that evidence has a name. It's the LSAT, the Law School Admission Test. It is, without a doubt, the single most important day of your pre-law school life. It's a 4-hour mental marathon designed to test the very skills you'll need to survive and thrive in your first year of law school. It doesn't care about your major, your volunteer work, or the moving story you wrote in your personal statement. It is a cold, impartial, and brutally objective measure of your ability to think. And for admissions committees drowning in thousands of applications, that objective number is a lighthouse in a storm. So what is this beast? The LSAT is primarily composed of 3 scored sections, and you'll get 2 of one type. Let's break them down. First, you have logical reasoning. This is the heart of the LSAT and the core of legal thinking. It presents you with a short paragraph, a little argument, and then asks you a very specific question about it. Find the flaw, identify the assumption, strengthen the conclusion, weaken the argument. It's a microscale cross-examination. Imagine an argument like this. Every resident of Springfield loves donuts. Homer lives in Springfield. Therefore, Homer must love donuts. It's simple, it's valid. But the LSAT will give you something far trickier, filled with subtle gaps in logic. It will test whether you can spot the hidden premise, the leap of faith an author is making without telling you. This section trains your brain to stop reading for pleasure and start reading for weaknesses. It forces you to dissect language with the precision of a surgeon, because in law, the difference between may and shall can be the difference between freedom and a life sentence. Next, you have the most feared, the most notorious, the most uniquely LSAT section of all, analytical reasoning, better known as logic games. If logical reasoning is a cross-examination, logic games are like being handed a chaotic case file and told to make sense of it. You're given a set of variables and a list of strange, arbitrary rules. For instance, 7 new associates, Adams, Baker, Chan, Davis, Evans, Ford, and Garcia, must be assigned to one of 3 partners. Partner Smith can only take 2 associates. Partner Jones cannot work with Adams. If Chen is assigned to partner Wu, then Garcia must also be assigned to partner Wu. And if Davis is assigned to Jones, then Ford cannot be assigned to Smith. Now, which of the following assignments is possible? Your brain might be melting just hearing that, and that's the point. It's designed to overwhelm you, but it's not testing your knowledge of anything. It's testing your ability to take a complex, foreign system of rules, internalize them, and make deductions with absolute certainty. You have to build a diagram, a system, to map out the possibilities and eliminate the impossibilities. It's pure, unadulterated, structured thinking. It's the same skill you'll use to navigate the labyrinthine rules of civil procedure, or the intricate clauses of a multi-billion-dollar merger agreement. It's about creating order from chaos. And while they are terrifying at first, here's the secret. Logic games are the most learnable section of the entire test. They are patterns. Once you learn to see the patterns, you can master them. Finally, there's reading comprehension. And you need to forget everything you know about reading comprehension from college. This is a different sport. You'll be presented with 4 incredibly dense, jargon-filled passages on topics you've likely never encountered. One might be about the evolution of copyright law in the digital age. The next might be a comparative analysis of 2 different theories on subatomic particle physics. The third could be a deep dive into the socio-economic impact of Renaissance-era Italian banking guilds. The test doesn't care if you know what a quark is. It wants to know if you can read a 600-word block of impenetrable text, and in under 9 minutes, identify the author's primary purpose, find the specific sentence that supports their main argument, and understand the logical structure of their claims. It's a simulation. It's training for the day a senior partner drops a 90-page judicial opinion on your desk and says, "Read this. Tell me what matters." Law school is, more than anything, a fire hose of reading. This section tests whether you can drink from it without drowning. So you have these 3 section types. You'll do one, then another, then a short break, then 2 more. But here's the twist. One of those sections is a fake. It's the unscored experimental section. The test makers use it to try out new questions for future exams. The problem is, you have no idea which one it is. So you have to treat every single section as if your future depends on it, because it does. It's a test of mental endurance as much as it is a test of intellect. After the multiple choice gauntlet, you'll also be required to complete the LSAT writing sample. This is done separately at home on your own computer. It's a 35-minute persuasive writing task where you're given a scenario with 2 competing options and asked to argue for one over the other. It isn't scored from 120 to 180, but it is sent to every law school you apply to. Don't sleep on this. If an admissions officer is on the fence between you and another candidate with the exact same numbers, they might just pull up your writing samples. A sloppy, poorly reasoned essay can be the tiebreaker that sends your application into the rejection pile. Now let's talk about the number that all this effort boils down to, your score. The LSAT is scored on a scale from 120 to 180. A 151 is roughly the 50th percentile, the average score. But in the competitive world of law school admissions, average doesn't cut it. To get into a top 50 law school, you generally need to be in the 160s. To crack the legendary top 14, the elite schools like Harvard, Yale, Stanford, and Columbia, you need to be aiming for a 170 or higher. A 173 is the 99th percentile. It means you scored better than 99% of the other highly intelligent, highly motivated people who took that test. This single number has a terrifying, almost disproportionate amount of power. It can make or break an application. If you have a mediocre GPA, a stellar LSAT score, what's known as being a splitter, can make top schools overlook your past academic stumbles. It tells them that whatever happened in college, you have the raw intellectual horsepower to succeed now. Conversely, a 4.0 GPA can be severely undermined by a low LSAT score. It's the great equalizer, and it's why people dedicate months, even years, of their lives to mastering it. So how do you do it? How do you slay this dragon? First, understand this critical truth. The LSAT is not an IQ test. It is a test of learned skills. You are not born good or bad at the LSAT. You become good at it through deliberate strategic practice. This isn't a final you can cram for in a week. The consensus is that you need a minimum of 3 to 6 months of consistent, dedicated study. We're talking 15 to 20 hours a week. Your preparation should have 3 phases. Phase 1 is diagnosis and foundation. You get a book or sign up for a prep course and you take a practice test under timed conditions. Your score will probably be terrible. That's okay. This is your baseline. Your job now is to learn the fundamentals. You learn the different types of logical reasoning questions. You learn how to diagram the 5 main types of logic games. You learn the strategies for tackling dense reading passages. Phase 2 is drilling. This is where the real work is done. You don't just take endless practice tests. You isolate your weaknesses and attack them relentlessly. Are you struggling with sufficient assumption questions? You do 100 of them in a row until the pattern is burned into your brain. Do grouping games make you sweat? You do every single official grouping game ever released until they become second nature. You obsess over your mistakes, creating a wrong answer journal, to understand why you got a question wrong. Was it a misread? A logic gap? A time management issue? You analyze your errors like a detective investigating a crime scene. Phase 3 is endurance. In the final month, you take full-time practice tests under realistic conditions. No distractions. You wake up at the same time you will on test day. You eat the same breakfast. You use the same type of pencil. You train your mind and body to perform at peak capacity for hours on end, under immense pressure. The LSAT is more than a test. It's a rite of passage. It is the first, and perhaps the most significant intellectual challenge you will face on your journey to becoming a lawyer. It's designed to break you down, to test your limits, to see if you have the mental fortitude and analytical rigor the profession demands. It is a formidable barrier, a gatekeeper to your dreams. But it is not insurmountable. With the right strategy, the right mindset, and an unrelenting work ethic, you can conquer it. Once you have that score in hand, it becomes the centerpiece of your application, the powerful objective evidence that complements the story you've told through your GPA and your personal statement. You've now assembled the core components of your case. The next step is to package it all together, to create a single compelling file that will land on the desk of an admissions officer. It's time to build the complete application. This application isn't just a collection of documents. It's your closing argument to the admissions committee. And the courtroom where this argument is presented is the Law School Admission Council, or LSAC. Think of LSAC as the central nervous system of the law school application process. Nearly every ABA-approved law school in the country uses their service. You don't send 20 different applications to 20 different schools. You create one master file, one comprehensive portfolio of you, through LSAC's Credential Assembly Service, or CAS. This is where everything you've worked for converges. Your LSAT score is reported directly to them. You'll have your undergraduate transcripts sent from every single institution you attended, even that one community college class you took in high school. LSAC takes these transcripts, standardizes your GPA according to their own rigorous formula, and combines it with your LSAT score and your personal information. Then you upload your personal statement, your resume, and any addenda you've written. You'll also manage your letters of recommendation through this portal. You'll assign specific recommenders to submit their letters to LSAC, and then you'll choose which letters go to which schools. This CAS report is the complete package. It's a single unified file that presents your entire case. For each school you apply to, you'll pay a fee to LSAC to send this report, and you'll pay an application fee to the school itself. Yes, this process is expensive. It's an investment before the investment. Look for fee waivers. Many schools offer them based on financial need or high LSAT/GPA stats. LSAC themselves offer fee waivers that can save you hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Do your research. Don't let the cost be the barrier that stops you. You've checked every box. You've uploaded every document. You've paid every fee. You hover your mouse over the submit button. This is the moment of truth. The culmination of years of work, of late-night study sessions, of personal sacrifice. You click it, and then silence. Welcome to the waiting game. This is for many the most agonizing part of the entire journey. You've done everything in your power. The case is now in the hands of the jury, the admissions committee. Can take weeks. Can take months. You'll refresh your email 1,000 times a day. You'll check the online status portals until the login page is burned into your memory. You'll see other people on forums posting their acceptances to your dream schools, and your heart will sink. This period is a test of your patience and your resilience. My advice? Try to let it go. Focus on your job, your current classes, your life. You have made your argument. Now you must let the process unfold. Eventually, the verdicts will start to roll in. They will come in one of three forms: acceptance, waitlist, or rejection. Let's start with the best one. Acceptance. The email arrives. The subject line reads "Congratulations," or your offer of admission. It's a feeling of pure elation, of validation. All that work, all that stress, it was all worth it. You celebrate. You call your family, your friends, your mentors. You did it. But the work isn't over. If you receive multiple acceptances, you now face a wonderful but difficult choice. This is where you revisit your research. You might attend admitted students' weekends. You'll scrutinize financial aid offers. An acceptance from a top 10 school with no scholarship might be harder to justify than an acceptance from a top 25 school with a full ride. Think about your career goals. Think about geography. Think about debt. This is the first major business decision of your legal career. Make it wisely. Then there's the waitlist. This is not a no. It's a maybe. It means the school liked you. You were a strong candidate, but they just didn't have enough seats at that moment. Being on the waitlist is an active process, not a passive one. Your first step is to decide if you even want to remain on it. If you have a great acceptance with a scholarship elsewhere, maybe you don't. But if it's your dream school, you fight for it. You write a letter of continued interest or a LOSI. This is a concise, professional letter reaffirming your strong desire to attend their school specifically. You can provide brief updates, a new promotion, a new award, a significant new project. You demonstrate your commitment. Sometimes it works and a spot opens up. Sometimes it doesn't. But you don't leave the field without making one last push. And finally, there is rejection. The email is polite but firm. We regret to inform you. It stings. Feels personal. Feels like a judgment on your entire worth. Let yourself feel that disappointment. It's real. But do not let it define you. A rejection from a law school is not a rejection of your potential to be a great lawyer. The admissions process is brutally competitive. A handful of people are making decisions about thousands of qualified applicants based on a paper file. They make mistakes. They have institutional needs you can't possibly know about. If you face rejection, you have a choice. You can let it be the end of the road, or you can let it be a detour. If you are truly committed to this path, you analyze what happened. Was your LSAT score below their median? Then you get back to studying. Was your personal statement weak? You rewrite it, get more feedback. Did you apply too late in the cycle? You apply on day 1 next year. You get another year of work experience. You strengthen your case. Many successful lawyers were rejected the first time they applied. What defines them is not the initial failure, but the persistence to stand back up, learn from it, and present an even stronger case the next time around. Let's assume you've navigated this gauntlet. You've weighed your options, you've submitted your deposit. You have a seat in the incoming class of a law school. The journey you've been on, this entire roadmap we've discussed, from that first spark of an idea to this very moment, was just getting you to the starting line. The real marathon is about to begin. Ahead of you lie 3 years of intense, transformative education. The first year, your 1L year, will challenge you in ways you've never been challenged before. You'll learn a new language of torts, contracts, and civil procedure. You'll be introduced to the Socratic method. You'll read hundreds, if not thousands, of pages of dense case law every week. You'll learn to think like a lawyer, to analyze, to argue, to see both sides of an issue with cold, clear logic. After that, you'll take the bar exam, a grueling multi-day test that is the final gatekeeper to the profession. You will pass. And then you will stand in a courtroom or a boardroom, you will raise your right hand, and you will take an oath. An oath to support the Constitution of the United States. An oath to conduct yourself with integrity and civility. An oath to the cause of justice. This entire process, the LSAT, the GPA, the personal statement, the applications, the waiting, the 3 years of school, the bar exam, it's not just a series of administrative hurdles designed to wear you down. It is a crucible. It is a process designed to test your commitment, your intellect, your resilience, and your character. Forges you. It ensures that those who are given the immense power and responsibility of being an attorney have earned the right to wield it. Because that's what this is all about. It's not just about a prestigious job or a high salary. It's about being entrusted with a person's life, their liberty, their property. It's about being the person who stands up for the powerless. It's about being the one who can navigate the complex rules that govern our society to find a just outcome. It's about being the voice for those who have no voice. The road is long, the work is hard, but the title, Attorney at Law, is not just a job description. It is a promise you make to your clients, to the courts, and to society. It is a promise to be a guardian of the law. If you've watched this series to the end, that spark inside of you is real. Now it's time to protect it, to nurture it, and to turn it into a fire. The roadmap is in your hands. The journey is yours to take. Now go build your case.